Hey, you busy? Mm-mm. Okay, let me run something past you real quick. When you think of the term mixed emotions, what comes to mind? Do you think of a restaurant and you're like, the food is good, but the vibe is just not vibing? Like that person is kind, but they're boring. Like the job is it pays well, but I don't feel satisfied and content. Like, I like doing that particular thing, but I'm clear that it's not my purpose, so I'm not super connected to it. Like, I love such and such, but I don't like their company. Like, I like that particular name, brand, style of choice, but I can admit it's not comfortable. You see how mixed emotion can take so many forms that we literally need a diagram to just trace it. So I went ahead to Merriam-Webster and the bishops over there in that dictionary ministry, and I wanted to see what they viewed mixed emotions as. And it was simple. It was the definition is conflicting feelings or emotions. And I said that makes sense. And the example that they gave is I'm having mixed feelings about the planned trip. And I totally get that. Because as the numero uno grandbaby that loves a great experience, I don't like a strenuous process. The whole TSA, take off your bra and unzip that and take that out your bag and all that screaming and the cleansiness not thereof and taking off stuff. I'm listen, I'm not a fan. But if you got to go through that to get to the other side of the tropics, the other side of the beauty, then you like, is there another way? Can we drive to Bora Bora? Is there a train underground, above ground? What's another way? Because this airplane process is a little bit is giving no thank you. It's giving I'd rather go ahead and stay at home, okay, and create the environment and play the ocean sounds in my own ear. That's just gonna have to suffice, right? But then I had something happen today that took on a new form of mixed emotion. I got an email from someone. I guess everyone comes to a certain path and point in their life where they want to go ahead and just clear the air. And I love a good air. Listen, I love a good crisp, clean air situation, right? But I already satisfied that particular debt in my life. Once I realized that holding on to something that someone did to you, once I realized that it's actually you holding on to a bad debt that someone cannot repay, I stopped leaving certain tabs open in my financial emotional bracket. Like I have fully come to term that certain people are just not going to be able to pay back what it is that they've done. The father that was estranged, listen, sir, if you came back tomorrow with a dollar amount or blank check in your hand and you ask me, what can I put down to go ahead and suffice and reconcile everything that I've done? I would not be able to give a number. Because how do you give a number to the crying nights, to seeing everybody else around you have at least a connection with their father? The fact that I had a connection with your mother, my grandmother, my aunt for a period of time. So I knew parts of the family, and certain parts of the family didn't even know how I came into the family. They were like, I'm sorry, who's your mother? So at family reunions, I'm embarrassed. Then having to explain to my own children, like, who is your dad? Like, see what, and trying to explain that you don't have a grandfather to my kid. Like all having a wedding and having to go ahead and do something different because the daddy-daughter thing is not going to be a part, because like we're not going to do that. Like to also have it where when I go to the doctor and they ask about my medical history and they go ahead and they ask about the father's side, that I have to actually pretend like I know that information. Like to go to places and have to fill out NA in the father column, whether it be for school, whether it be for whatever it is that I was signing up for. They always want to know my history, but unfortunately I didn't know it because you were not there. So to know, yeah, you can hold on to that. You can hold on to this, to the fact that this man was a coward and he decided to be the lion with no heart for the rest of his life. And you can continue to try to stay in the Wizard of Oz, to try to go ahead and hope that he's compelled to get a heart, or you can go ahead and give your heart to God and write that bad debt off and say, he cannot repay me for what he's done. But you know what? It's okay, because I may not have had an earthly father, but I definitely had a spiritual one. And my spiritual father knows me through and through. He knows the hairs on my head. He knew me before he formed me in my mother's womb. And you were just a vehicle to get me here so that I can fulfill my purpose on earth, period. Oh my goodness. To get there is beautiful. To get there, to write off debt that you like, listen, bro, friend, you don't have to call me back. I don't need closure. I don't need closure to close this bad tab in my life. I don't need closure. We don't need to have that conversation. We don't need to have anything hashed out. I'm not interested. Because one thing that I am clear on what I feel and why I feel it. So I thought. Every now and again, I do this beautiful thing that I love about myself, and I reflect. And what that email did today, having said person say, I was holding on to this and I'm sorry. And it was like, oh, okay, well, congratulations to you. You know what? Hand clap of praise for grandbabies who do it for themselves. They're not doing it for the grand. Not doing it. Come on, taking off the shackles off your feet so you can dance. Dance like David. Do it. I'm talking about do it for yourself. And so I took that out. I was like, congratulations to said person. Because I already wrote that debt off. But I did reflect and I said, are you harboring any other emotions that you didn't really bring to surface, and so you buried it, and so you only know about it in past situations? Or, if one situation comes into the chat, it brews up a thought about that one. You don't want to deal with it, so you suppress it. I said, yes. I said, not me. Suppressing something? And I realized I was angry. And so I was like, whoa. Because I know how dangerous anger is. It's the reason why the Bible says be angry but sin not. It's the reason why most people are sitting behind some kind of bar, some kind of institution, because they let anger have its way, Tasmanian style. And then once they calm down, they were like, ooh, I wish I would have handled that differently. So anger is not the grandbaby that I like to have as my component. Yeah, opponent. Anything. I don't want you a part of my chat. I actually want to go ahead and press that button and block, because that's not the emotion we want to toy with. Yeah, it's too slithery, it's too serpenty, and I don't like giving any kind of foothold to anger. But I was curious enough to approach this particular burning bush that wasn't in flames in my life, and I was like, anger. Can you explain to me why you're angry? And when I pulled back the layers of what I was feeling, it wasn't anger. It was unforgiveness to myself about that situation. So when I got to the bottom of it, I said, okay, let me peel back. I made a verbal deal with someone, and I am big on keeping your word to not only yourself, but to whoever you said you was going to do something. If you said you were going to do something, you need to do it. So when I made this deal with this person, shaky ground, person doesn't have the best character, but at the time of the situation, I said, you know what? I'm making this decision because I will want someone to do this for me. I'm making this decision because I feel like this is the right thing to do. And I'm making this decision because I'm not making the decision by myself. Cool. Made the decision. Not even as fast as I can fold the laundry and put it away did this person show their true colors. And I said, OMG. And then the person continued to not gossip, because you know that's not what these conversations are. What it was in a nutshell is that I helped someone out financially. Big no-no. And not only did they not keep their end of the bargain, it looked like they were living an upscale life thereafter. And so I became angry because I was like, ooh, you got me. That made me feel some kind of way. Okay. I feel taken advantage of. I'm frustrated. I'm aggravated. And all it did was just combine into this combustion of anger. But I asked myself, I said, what are you angry about? I said that I feel taken advantage of. And then when I continued to peel back, what it really was I was looking at myself in the mirror like, how you let such and such get you? You know such and such is not trustworthy. You thought this one time the leopard was just going to be zebra? Like, what happened? And I was like, oh, so this is not even angry against the person, because the person has been consistent. The person has been inconsistently consistent. And so this is not even, oh, I feel something towards you. This is, man, I feel something about me. I'm wiser than that. I know, I may not know everything, but you move and you make decisions according to someone's character, not the characters that they're texting you or whatever conversation that you're having in the moment. You don't take the moment and make that somebody's character. You take the history and you apply that as well. It is wisdom to know who you're getting in a contractual relationship with any kind of commitment, anything that makes you have to combine with someone else's whatever resources, idea, whatever the case may be. You have a responsibility to know, who am I getting in relationship with? Yeah, whether it's business relationship, whether it's a financial partnership, whatever it is, if there is a SHIP as in Peter at the end, then that means that you are now entering something with someone, and you want to make sure that the person that you're in that with is going to be a clear, concise, someone you can trust kind of personality. So that when you get to shore, you're not arriving there on pieces, but in a whole boat. You understand? And so I was like, oh. And what that did for me was it relieved me. I said, oh, I'm not angry with such and such. I just haven't forgiven myself. I'm so quick to write off the debt for other people that sometimes I'm not like, quick question. Is this the debt that you are keeping yourself in hostage to? And I said, oh, okay. So I went ahead and I got my spiritual pen and I was like, let me go ahead and put my name in the lines and say, yeah, I forgive you. I forgive you for being pure-hearted. So pure-hearted that you don't see that people actually are serpents in disguise sometimes. I appreciate the fact that you really be wanting to take the load off of people, not realizing that sometimes it puts a little burden on you. You know, shouts out to you being the grandbaby that you are. Would you say? Hand clap of praise? Of course. Absolutely. Why wouldn't I? Absolutely. And wouldn't have it any other way. And so now I honored the fact that you so pure-hearted, you don't know how to be a serpent in the garden. You're so pure-hearted, you don't know how to, I don't have the gotcha gimme. Gimme gotcha. Give me what I need. Gotcha. You thought I was going to come through. I don't have that in me. And so when you have that particular kind of posture and you walk through life that way, you see life through that lens. And so you automatically assume, unfortunately, that other people stand up to that. But you know what? We're going to be a little bit more clear-minded. We're going to be a little bit more clear on who we're entering anything with so that we don't feel a certain way about our purity. I'm pure. Why am I angry with myself? Why haven't I forgiven myself because of what you did? What you did is never going to make me feel some kind of way about me. That sounds oxymoronic. I will not put myself in bondage because somebody else has bad character. That doesn't make any sense. No more will I look at how a supervisor treats me and make that, well, what am I doing as a worker? No, you're doing the right thing. They don't know how to treat the right thing the right way. And it's been that way historically. Everybody across the globe can give you some type of testimony where good work equated to more work, good work equated to you picking up the slack, and good work always was correlated with having poor leadership. You will no longer look at yourself in relationships and go, I know that I do this, I do that, I'm a good partner, blah, blah, blah. And then look at yourself and beat yourself up like, well, why are they treating me that way? Oh, well, no, we're not. We are not looking at the fact that somebody else does not know how to steward properly the blessing that God put in their life, which is you, and look at yourself and be crying and feel dismayed in any kind of way because somebody don't know how to treat you. No, it is their fault that they don't know how to cook expensive meals and expensive ingredients. It's not yours. It's not your fault that they're used to pulling up and drive through, and now they need to learn how to listen and pull up to the table that is an expensive hors d'oeuvre kind of setting. They don't know how to treat that. That don't mean that you have to look at yourself like, what's wrong with you? No, what's wrong with them? Stop looking at your business as like, how come it's not getting off of the ground? How come people are not supporting? You know the talent that you have. You know the skill set that you have. And you're looking at it like, how come people are not? And you're looking at other people's business or whatever they're doing, their venture. And you're like, I know that I'm not hating on nobody, but I have a humble assessment. I know that I'm either equal or more blessed in that area or skilled in that area, and you're looking at you like, God, what happened? I don't understand. No, you don't look at the outcome and trace that back to your value. That is not what that is for. So you need to either A, disconnect the outcome from your value, or B, write off the debt that makes you look at yourself in that way. We're not doing it. We need to understand that as humans, we sometimes cloud emotions in such a way that they're so mixed, we don't even really know the source of it. You think you angry and you really sad. You think you sad and you really just frustrated with where you're at. You think you're frustrated and what you are is just bored with the stagnation that's been in your life. You think that you're bored and what it really is that you need consistency in another area because the area you're consistent in is not really giving you excitement. You're bored because you have a 9-to-5 and that's all you do and you need, no. Maybe you need to be more consistent in adding a hobby and doing some other things. And mixed emotion, if not carefully examined, will have you confused. And going through and walking through life in a way that look like you got a stiletto and a sneaker on at the same time. And mixed emotion is not only a thing for yourself, it's a thing for other people. I literally recently, I think I said it in a previous conversation that we had, but I'm like, I didn't realize that this was taking up the scene that it was taking. You know the famous scripture, Jesus wept, right? Everybody knows it. Everybody is a Bible scholar because they can recite scripture. But from what I've known, everyone has always given that particular scripture in a way to show that Jesus was sad. Jesus was sad specifically about his friend Lazarus dying. That is not true. That is not true. That was someone's interpretation of, oh, when people cry, it's because they're sad. Oh, then you never fought nobody in the hood. You ever known the girl that was crying because she was angry and she whooped Heine? It's like, why are you crying? Because I'm mad. It's like, oh, y'all may want to, you may want to clear the area. Because when Tyson starts crying, we have a problem. No, she's not sad. No, she's not scared. She's finna whoop Heine. And I need you to clear the air and the path thereof. But I've realized that mixed emotion is also a thing that people need to be aware of. You're not even aware of other people's emotions and why they're doing it. You're just assuming from the textbook 4 emotions that we know: anger, sad, disappointment, frustration. And then everything else outside of that, you don't know how to compute it. So you figure if somebody's crying, oh, that's automatically sad. If somebody's angry, oh, that's automatically frustration. It's like, won't you peel back some layers and get an understanding of the emotions so they don't have to be mixed anymore? So we are going to read exactly that. John 11. I'm going to read it from verse 1. You know, I read it in the NLT version. Let's get it. A man named Lazarus was sick. He lived in Bethany with his sisters Mary and Martha. 2. This is the Mary who later poured the expensive perfume on the Lord's feet and wiped them with her hair. Her brother, Lazarus, was sick. 3. So the 2 sisters sent a message to Jesus telling him, Lord, your dear friend is very sick. 4. But when Jesus heard about it, he said, Lazarus' sickness will not end in death. No, it happened for the glory of God, so that the Son of God will receive glory from this. Pause. You would think him telling you like, oh, what y'all afraid of? Hey, come here, Mary, mother. It's not even happening. They're not firing you. You're not gonna lose that job. No, you're not. No. You're gonna get a deposit on Friday. You don't worry about that. You would figure if Jesus said it, all is well. He told you he's not gonna end in death. He told you why it's happening, and he told you who it's happening for. Oh, this is a piece of cake. Let me go ahead and turn around and tell them. Yeah, don't. Go ahead and tell them folks, no, tell them you sorry, hang up. We're not making no arrangements today. You understand? Like, that's what should have been said, right? Wrong. Let's continue. Verse 5. So although Jesus loved Mary, Martha, and Lazarus, 6, he stayed where he was for the next 2 days. 7, finally he said to his disciples, let's go back to Judea. 8, but his disciples objected. Rabbi, they said, only a few days ago, the people in Judea were trying to stone you. Are you going there again? 9. Jesus replied, there are 12 hours of daylight every day. During the day, people can walk safely. They can see because they have the light of this world. 10. But at night, there is a danger of stumbling because they have no light. 11. Then he said, our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, but now I will go and wake him up. 12. The disciples said, Lord, if he is sleeping, he will soon get better. 13. They thought Jesus meant Lazarus was simply sleeping, but Jesus meant Lazarus had died. 14. So he told them plainly, Lazarus is dead. 15. And for your sakes, I'm glad I wasn't there, for now you will really believe. Come. Let's go see him. Pause. I already feel the undertone. I already feel Jesus like, I don't understand why y'all just not getting it. But it's okay. Continue. 16. Thomas, nicknamed the twin, said to his fellow disciples, let's go. Let's go too and die with Jesus. 17. When Jesus arrived at Bethany, he was told that Lazarus had already been in the grave for 4 days. 18. Bethany was only a few miles down the road from Jerusalem. 19. And many of the people had come to console Martha and Mary in their loss. 20. When Martha got word that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him, but Mary stayed in the house. 21. Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if only you had been here, my brother would not have died. 22. But even now, I know that God will give me whatever you ask. 23. Jesus told her, your brother will rise again. 24. Yes, Martha said. He will rise when everyone else rises at the last day. 25. Jesus told her, I am the resurrection and the life. Anyone who believes in me will live, even after dying. 26. Everyone who lives in me and believes in me will never, ever die. Do you believe this, Martha? 27. Yes, Lord, she told him. I've always believed you are the Messiah, the Son of God, the one who has come into the world from God. 28. Then she returned to Mary. She called Mary aside from the mourners and told her, the teacher is here and wants to see you. 29. So Mary immediately went to him. 30. Jesus had stayed outside the village at the place where Martha met him. 31. When the people who were at the house consoling Mary saw her leave so hastily, they assumed she was going to Lazarus' grave to weep. So they followed her there. 32. When Mary arrived and saw Jesus, she fell at his feet and said, Lord, if only you had been here, my brother would not have died. 33. When Jesus saw her weeping and saw the other people wailing with her, a deep anger welled up within him, and he was deeply troubled. 34. Where have you put him? He asked. They told him, Lord, come and see. 35. Then Jesus wept. Pause. Set the scene. You got disciples that don't clearly understand. I just said a few moments ago, this sickness will not end in death. Oh, let me tell you, he's going to rise again. This is done for the glory of God. So you already set the stage. Y'all should be okay because I said it. Then you got disciples who are not even understanding, so you got to say stuff plainly to them. Then you get to Martha, and you're like, Martha, everybody who believes in me and essentially everything that I said and what I said I'm going to do, like, believe what I said. Do you believe it? And she's like, yeah, but I'm going to go home and get married because I don't really understand what he said. Then you got Mary coming down crying. So we got to repeat this all over again. You got somebody else being, if only you were here. It's like, oh my gosh. Then Jesus wept. 35 says, then Jesus wept. All this time, scholars have been saying he wept because he was sad that his friend died. No, you think so? Continue reading. 36. The people who were standing nearby said, see how much he loved him? 37. But some said, this man healed the blind man. Couldn't he have kept Lazarus from dying? 38. Jesus was still angry as he arrived at the tomb, a cave with a stone rolled across its entrance. 39. Roll the stone aside, Jesus told them. But Martha, the dead man's sister, protested, Lord, he has been dead for 4 days. The smell will be terrible. 40. Jesus responded, didn't I tell you that you will see God's glory if you believe? 41. So they rolled the stone aside. Then Jesus looked up to heaven and said, Father, thank you for hearing me. 42. You always hear me. But I said it out loud for the sake of all these people standing here so they will believe you sent me. 43. Then Jesus shouted, Lazarus, come out. 44. And the dead man came out, his hands and feet bound in grave clothes, his face wrapped in a headcloth. Jesus told them, unwrap him and let him go. Pause. You see the danger of mixed emotions? So dangerous that scholars will have it where they're communicating something that's not accurate. Matter of fact, let's not even blame the scholars. Let's go back into the word. The people around him were confused on his emotion. One group of people saw him crying and was like, oh, see how much he loved Lazarus? He's crying because he's so emotionally intact with the fact that, oh, he lost a homie. Then you got other people that was like, Well, he's the healer. Why didn't he just stop it? So the people around him was confused about his emotion. They looking at the man crying and they're like, oh, he's sad. But like, why are you sad? You could have stopped it. Mixed emotion is dangerous when you don't get close enough to examine why are you crying? Because the very next verse would have showed them. Jesus was still angry. Oh, you crying because you're angry. So maybe the question should be, why are you angry? Then you would have saw the true emotion. I'm angry because they still don't believe that God sent me. I'm angry because I spent all this time, all these years with the disciples for them still not to pick up what I'm saying. I'm not even talking in parables. I'm simply trying to let him know, like, bro, he's sleeping. Well, if he's sleeping, how come, bro, he's dead? Like, so that's frustrating. To feel like you poured into the disciples for how many years? 3 to be exact. And they still not getting it. It's like y'all still in first grade. And I need y'all to graduate because in Jerusalem, we getting ready to have this thing called Calvary. And he's not going to be here much longer. Which was the whole point of him telling you that, yo, there's only 12 hours of daylight. And then when night comes, he's trying to let y'all know, y'all better be paying attention. I need y'all to go ahead and understand how to financially get your pieces together because inflation and the way the world's getting ready to go is not going to be kind to people who don't have a savings account and a plan. I need y'all to understand he's frustrated. Then he gets to Martha and she halfway believes, but not really. Then Mary comes out and it's like he got to restart it all over again because she comes crying all over again. And it's like from the disciples to Martha, to Mary. All of this could have been resolved if y'all would have listened to the first thing that he said about Lazarus' death when y'all told him. He said, oh, this is not going to end in death. He's going to rise again. This is being done for the glory of God. But to be among people, the disciples, Martha, Mary, people around them, oh, he's crying because he's sad. Well, why he crying? He could have said, it's like, that's frustrating. Y'all don't understand. He got a limited time here. He not living here to the full human capacity of 70 to 80. He knows it's getting ready to be a wrap. And he knows that y'all still not at where y'all supposed to be. It's like leaving a child behind knowing you can't cook for yourself. You don't know how to wash clothes. You don't even know how to wipe your behind good. It's frustrating. It's scary. And sometimes it makes anger enter the chat. So why did Jesus weep? Because he was angry. How did he approach Lazarus' tomb? Still angry. Be aware of your own emotion. Because people around you are going to consistently miscrew what you're feeling. I remember being at a job, and because the environment was toxic, I was quiet. I didn't really communicate with anyone. I wasn't having lunch with people because I saw all the backstabbing. I saw all the unnecessaries. And I was like, you know what? If my little bit of cool water can't simmer down this scorching heat, I'm just going to preserve it to myself until God moves me elsewhere. And do you know that my silence got me targeted? People mix their emotion of, why is she so quiet? Who did she talk to? And they were trying to asking other people, does she talk about me? Is people coming to me like, how come you so kind? How come everybody's trying to figure out A, B, and C? And I'm like, so my silence was triggering, like I'm gossiping? That was weird to me. I went to another job. And my eagerness to want to know more about the system, more about this, that, and the third, sent a trigger alarm to the HR manager that I was trying to take her place. So she literally blocked my access to learning certain systems. She did not want me to learn because this new girl coming in with all this knowledge and this education and this skill set, It triggered her. It made her feel like I was trying to take her. So she literally blocked the job. That was a misconstruction of my emotion. I was eager to learn, not to take your job, ma'am. So what am I saying? This entire conversation is a sign and a plead and a declaration to self. The world is going to continue to misconstrue what it is that you're trying to do, what it is that you're trying to ascertain, what it is that God put in your heart to do. You doing things for free. They like, you should get paid for it. You like, I don't feel like that's the way that God is leading me. You, whatever the case, whatever the world do, the world's going to do what the world's going to do. You understand? But the one thing you need to be clear on is you. Why do you feel the way that you feel? Why are you doing what you're doing? Who is fueling that? Is God leading that? And everything else needs to fall by the wayside. Because they're going to have it documented forever that Jesus wept because he was sad, and that's not the truth. So if it's not going to be properly understood why you move the way you move, why you feel the way you feel by others, you at least need to be clear on what it is that you feel, why you feel it, and be clear and walk in that clarity for yourself. Whether you got to write off bad debt for yourself and say, you know what, I thought I was angry at such and such, but it honestly is, I didn't forgive the fact that I let such and such have an opportunity to play me. Forgive yourself. Walk in truth. Walk in clarity. Because you cannot afford to be operating in mixed emotions, because that's what the world is based on. Do you understand? Clarity leads to freedom, and freedom leads to a life worth living. And that is it. I feel like you got what you needed. You know what these conversations are? They are life-provoking conversations that not the average person is going to have with you, but who? Your favorite homegirl. But listen, I feel like you have a little bit of an evangelism kind of thing in your spirit. And I won't stand in the way of that. So I'm going to go ahead and let me go. We talk later? All right. Later.